Welcome to another Code Made Easy video tutorial presented by Blackstar Code Academy, where we make learning to code easy. For complete, easy to understand, and detailed coding video tutorials, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. Here you'll find in-depth coding instruction and tutorials that are easy to understand and follow. So visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Now, this is lesson number 10 in our Getting to Know Bootstrap introductory tutorial series. In lessons number 1 through 9, we learned about Bootstrap. We also installed our editor here. We'll be using Notepad+, and you can download it for free at notepadplus.org. It's an open source HTML editor. We'll be using version number 6.0 because that gives us the features that we need. See here, version 6.0. And in our previous lessons, lessons 1 through 9, we installed our navigation bar. We also did our lower header here, as well as these elements here, these 3 blocks here. We coded those elements out, as well as our offset section here with our offset blocks here, as well as a call to action section and these 2 blocks here. We coded those out, and then we did our upper and lower footer in lessons 1 through 9. So in this tutorial, we'll be building out our upper header section here. It's got this nice background image here with this text included. So let's get started. So I'll go over here to my editor, and just below the links which give me access to the Bootstrap CDN, that's where we want to include our styles here. But below that, we want to include our markup just below and above the first section and below the nav section. If you've been following along through lessons 1 through 9, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the first thing we want to do is include our header tag. So we'll do an opening header tag here and a closing header tag. Okay, and then we'll open that up because we want to include a couple of divisions inside the header tag here. So we'll go ahead and do our first div here, an opening div tag, and a closing div tag there. And then we'll open that up. And we want to include another div inside that div. We'll do an opening div tag, and then a closing div tag there. Okay, and then we'll open that up. And we'll do our last div here. We'll do a tab over and then an opening div tag, and a closing div tag there. Now within this last div, we're going to include our H1 tags and our paragraph tags. So we'll do an H1 opening tag and a closing H1 tag. And just below that, we'll do our opening paragraph tag and our closing paragraph tag. So this is what we have so far. We have our header here, our header tag with our first div here, then our second div, then our third div, and within our third div we have our header and paragraph tags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform a Control S. Now that's on a Windows machine. That's the hotkeys for saving the edits to the markup. And we want to go ahead and include some text. So in our header tag, we're going to include the text that you see here on my finished page here. We'll just include this text here. This website is just an example. So I'll go ahead and type that in. This website is just an example. Okay, that will be in our heading tag there. And then the sentence we want to include, this next sentence in that paragraph tag. Building a website using Bootstrap can be easy. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. Building a website using Bootstrap can be easy. Okay. So we'll go ahead and form a Control S to save the edits to the markup. Go back to my test page here. I'll go ahead and do a refresh, and as you can see, the text is here off to the top and to the left. And we're going to straighten that out by adding some classes, some Bootstrap classes, as well as some special classes to our markup. So the first class we want to add is just a class that I made up. And you can make up whatever class name that you want to apply to this header. But I call my class equals masthead. Okay, and that's just a made up class. It's not a Bootstrap class or any other type of CS class. It's just a CSS class. It's just that class that I made up. It just makes it unique. Now, in this first div, we're going to add a Bootstrap class. Okay, so we'll do the class equals container, and then in the second div, we want to add a class of row. So we're going to do class equals row, and then we want to add an additional class to this div. We want to do a class of align hyphen items hyphen center. Now this is a Bootstrap class, and you can learn more about Bootstrap on our Patreon page at patreon.com/code-made-easy. We have a number of in-depth tutorials regarding Bootstrap and Bootstrap classes and CSS on our Patreon page at patreon.com/code-made-easy. Now in this next div, we're going to add our responsive class. Again, this is a Bootstrap class, so we'll do class equals double quotes, and we'll do COL-12. Again, learn more about the Bootstrap classes on our Patreon page, patreon.com/code-made-easy. And we're going to add an additional class to that. We'll do a text hyphen center. Okay, so that will center the text in the area that we have on our page. Now we want to add a couple of classes to this header tag and this paragraph tag. So in this header tag, we're going to add a class equals, we're going to do font hyphen size hyphen light. Again, learn more about Bootstrap classes on our Patreon page. And then I'll add another Bootstrap class to the paragraph tag. Class equals double quotes lead. Okay, we'll do Control S to save the edits to the markup. Go back to my page and I'll do a refresh. And you can see that centered the text and just made it a little bit bolder. But we still need to add some height to our upper header here. So we're going to do that by adding what's called nonlinear styling. So the difference between nonlinear styling and linear styling is that you add the linear styling to your HTML markup, whereas nonlinear will be creating a style section. So in this particular tutorial, we'll go ahead and add our style section just below the links to the CDN, to Bootstrap CDN, and just above our navigation area. So we'll do an opening style tag here, and a closing style tag there. And within that section, we're going to add our classes. Okay, so we're going to add a class of, we'll do the made up class that I have here, this masthead. That's my own special class. And it can be whatever class name that you want. And I'll just go ahead and do a period, masthead, followed by brackets. And I'm going to open up my brackets because I'm going to add my properties and selectors inside the brackets. So in this instance, we'll be adding the background image, and that's this image you see here on my finished page. This is nice little image that you see in the background there. We'll be adding some properties to that section. So we'll go ahead and do a background, or we'll do we'll do a height, and then we'll do it followed by a colon, and we'll make that 100 HD. And you can find out more about what HD means on our Patreon page, taking our CSS course on our Patreon page at patreon.com/code-made-easy. And then we're going to add another property, our selector, minimum height, and then followed by a colon. The minimum height is going to be 300 pixels, followed by a semicolon, pixels, followed by a semicolon. And then we'll add our background image. So we'll do background hyphen image, the word image, followed by a colon, and it can be whatever image you want. I happen to have my my string here already done, so I don't have to type it all in. I'll just go ahead and highlight that, and And I'll go ahead back to markup here, and I'll just go ahead and Control V and paste that in there. Now we're going to add our background size property. In the background size, it's going to be cover. It's going to cover the entire section. And then we'll do a background position -position. And that's going to be center. That'll make our background be in the center of the section here. Okay, so it's nice and center. And then we'll add a final property of background -repeat, and we want to do a no repeat on that, so the background image is not repeated across that section. Again, you can learn all about linear styling and nonlinear styling in our Patreon page, patreon.com/code made easy. So now I want to do a Control S for a Windows machine. That's the hotkeys. And I'll go back to my work and I'll do a refresh on the page. And there you go. You see that I've added some height there. And I want to move my text down a little bit further down the page. Okay. And one other thing, I want to change this to, I think it's VH instead of HV. And do Control S, and that should be a little bit more height there. So I'll just go ahead and do that like that, and yeah, it does. Okay, so now you see my text is up here underneath my navigation area, and I want to move that down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another unique class, but I'm going to add that to another class here to my div here that's assigned the responsive class. Okay, so I'm going to add a text -middle. Again, this is just a new unique class that I made up, so it'll add that class to the text here that is contained within the header tag or the H1 tag and the paragraph tag. Now I need to go back to my nonlinear styling section, and that's the section in between my style tags here. And I'll just go ahead and add that class. So I'll do a period text -middle, and that's the class that I want to apply this to. And I'll go ahead and do my opening bracket, closing bracket, and I want that to be margin -top followed by colon 250 pixels from the top. Okay, so I'll do Control S, go back to my work and see what we get. And I'll do a refresh on the page, and it didn't move. So just a second, let me go back and see if I applied that correctly. So actually, I want to do test. Oh, see, that's what it is. I did test instead of text. So that's what it was. You gotta watch your syntax and your typing. So now that class of text middle it'll apply that to the text that I have there. And then I've got text middle class here in my nonlinear style section. That's the section between my style tags. Now I'll go back, I save my markup, my edits to my markup. I'll go back and refresh the page, and there you go. So now my text has been moved from the top to the middle. And as you see, it's nice and aligned. I've got my nice background image there, and I've got my text centered here in the middle, just like I like. And that pretty much concludes this video tutorial. Now, in upcoming video tutorials, we'll be working more with the navigation as well as our other sections here, and continue just to build out our website here. We'll be adding some content here and styling this area here, as well as some other tutorials and just our information that you might need to continue to build out your page and continue following along our tutorial and building out our project. Again, you can find out more about Bootstrap, CSS, WordPress, PHP, all the Bootstrap classes. Get some in-depth tutorials on our Patreon page at patreon.com/code made easy. And I will see you in an upcoming video tutorial.